Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I wanted to do this video in regards to some thoughts to how or why coronavirus should make you rethink about living your life to the fullest. So I have many thoughts on this because I think you have to analyze both ends of the spectrum. I do think the millennial generation, we've been brought up with this idea pounded into our head of like living your passion and living your dreams and things like that. And, some of that is necessary and inspiring, and some of that is a little detrimental. And it gets detrimental when people it's like everybody just wants to live off of a passion project or a blog, and like people don't actually want to work, which is detrimental to a society, because in that case you have to end up importing other people to do that work for cheaper labor. And so in that sense of this whole like living your passions, that can be very detrimental to a society, because you still need people to do things like cleaning and janitorial work. I know that when I was in grad school in 2008, I had to continuously tell the staff, who were undergraduate students, to keep cleaning the gym and the fitness equipment, because we had outbreaks of MRSA and the kids weren't cleaning it because they thought that they were above that. And in my head, I was like, you're an 18, 19-year-old student. Like, this is where you start. This isn't where you're going to end up in 20 or 30 years. But you know what? You have to do kind of the nitty gritty mundane work. And so we're just breeding this. We've bred this really bad culture in that sense, to where it's like people think they're above and beyond doing certain duties or tasks. And some of that is necessary in entry level positions. But why I've thought about this topic is I did a blog post today, which was about just like a vegan butternut squash kale red curry over udon noodles. And I was just rethinking about my travels during college. So when I lived in Australia in 2008, I got to go to Thailand for 3 weeks, and then Hong Kong for some yoga. And I met a girl when I studied yoga in India. So she was from Hong Kong, and I went and visited her. And now that things are in coronavirus, like we're still shut down in Seattle in phase one still. And I was just thinking, like, I am so glad that I did certain things at the time that I did them. And my mindset in college was I've always been extroverted, but a little bit of introverted as well. But I thought, I wanted to experience life to the fullest, to the sense that I wanted to get things out of my system or do certain things to where when I got married, or if I ever had a family, I would not look back and regret those decisions. Or I understood that when you have a family or a kid, like, these things might not be available for you to do easily as compared to when you're younger, and able to do it. You have the time, maybe not necessarily the money, but able to do it. And now that with like coronavirus, how the travel industry is just basically tanked, and who knows who's going to be traveling. People are going to be a little scared, and it's like, why spend $3,000 to go to Europe when nothing's open? It's just to walk around and eat to-go food, and anyways. So I hope that the coronavirus is giving you some time of reflection to rethink certain things in your life. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be going through financial hardships, where living your life to the fullest might not necessarily be a possibility, but it's also not necessarily like living your life to the fullest doesn't have to reflect how I lived my life to the fullest. For some people, just living their life to the fullest is having family time and living a very healthy lifestyle. They don't have the travel bug or the itch to have to, visit like 39 different countries by the time they're 35 years old. But this should give us a little bit of time of reflection of, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of being broke? And, it is really difficult if you're only making like $12 to $20 an hour, especially if you're living in an expensive city like Seattle. I don't know how the hell you survive, which is why people, in their mid-30s have 3 or 4 roommates because they want to only spend $500 to $1,000 a month for like a bedroom rather than, $2,000 for a one bedroom. So in that sense, it's really difficult, but this should be the time to make you rethink certain things because nobody expected a global pandemic virus to put the whole world on pause to where a lot of the things that we want to live or pursue are ruined. A lot of people have lost their job. They've lost jobs where they've had work-life balance, and now they're back, seeking new jobs to where they're starting over and they're losing that balance or that connection to that company that they had before. Or even something like that ability to work from home. Like people had that, and I've known people that have lost jobs and now they don't have that ability. They're going to have to go into an office every single day, and or they're going to have a completely new schedule from something that they were used to for 18 years. They worked normal business hours and now they're going to have to work second shift. So all of, the world is really messed up right now, but maybe this should allow you to rethink certain things. Like one thing is when I lived in Australia for the first time in 2005, my father always wanted to go to New Zealand. And I was like, well, this is a perfect opportunity because I was planning on going. And when I lived in Europe, he always wanted to go to Austria and Switzerland. And when I lived in Europe, I was like, well, this is a perfect opportunity. And he didn't take advantage of it because he constantly procrastinates. And now he's getting older, things happen. You can't sit as long because you got sciatica or whatever eyesight and things are going. And look at now, like, are those plans or dreams going to be held off for another 2 or 3 years of because this silly ass pandemic has completely destroyed our economy? So it's like everybody has some form of time in life. Life is not easy when you have children and you're raising a family and they're constantly sucking your energy and attention all the time. But there are some borders and boundaries that you could make to try to negotiate things with your spouse, especially if you're, a family who's still together and not divorced, that maybe you want to focus on drawing and there's a compromise where you can focus on 1 or 2 hours of drawing a week, and the husband will watch the children, and then he can go out and do his jogging and his exercise while you watch the children. So hopefully there's this little bit of a balancing act that can be had or made, which it's not easy to do. But the thing is, now the governments and a disease is kind of controlling us a little bit, and it's controlling the way we operate and we do business and we live this new normal. So if you're tired of certain things in your life, like maybe this is the time to kickstart this change so you're not tired anymore. Most obese people that I've worked with would dream to live their life playing with their kids without pain. Maybe this is the time for you to start to live that dream, to get a little bit healthier habits into the home, whether that's just adding vegetables to your food or just starting to walk and move a little bit more. There's so much free exercise out there. It doesn't take a lot of money to initiate certain changes. But I don't know. I just wanted to share some thoughts on this because I was just like, wow, I'm so glad that I did this years ago, because even the world that we know today is so different. I knew that this global change was coming into our existence and that everything was becoming more Americanized. And I felt that if I had kids and, all these travels I did in India and Australia, I kind of really hoped that they could see the world that I saw. And in reality, they're not. I saw Germany change. When I first moved to Germany in October 2014, there was like one American product. Every time I went back to Germany, it's like half of their stores were American products. The American cereals like Kellogg's and all these like Trix and stuff like that were on the middle shelf, which is an eye level of buying, and the German products were on the top or the bottom shelf, which is out of eye level. So a lot of people tend to ignore those products. There's psychological product placement. It's a strategy on how these businesses operate and set up. And so basically now it's just like it's like Germany is just, they're like Americans that speak another language, basically, because everything is becoming um, kind of the same. So I don't know, if this is a time where you're saving money, or some people are making more money off of unemployment than they did working, and there's not really a ton of opportunities to spend money unless you're online shopping. Maybe this is a time for you to save a little money so you can go and do that dream vacation to Norway, or, to escape to that cabin in the woods that you've always wanted to do. Or maybe buy some art supplies so you can actually start to focus on some art, which is very therapeutic in itself for stress management. So, coronavirus, we're living in history. One day this is going to be in the history books, the same as SARS and the plague of the Middle Ages, the Black Plague, and the plague of 1918 and all that. So we are living through history, and I'm not saying that this should just, where you should just quit your job and start traveling the world. Like, that's not really probably even possible right now, but we should really come to a point of appreciating the job that you have, the life that, you're able to live every day, because so many people have died from this now. Or just appreciation for your body. So that is living your life to the fullest. Health is wealth. And if you have your health right now, that is a very good thing to have, because a lot of people don't have their health, or people who have, diabetes and asthma and stuff are more susceptible to this disease if they catch it. So anyways, these are some random thoughts that I've had on how you should rethink living your life to the fullest. I think, if you have certain dreams or bucket list goals or things that you want to accomplish or do in life, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be some bead artist and make $1 million off of it. It probably won't happen. You have to be a little realistic on that. But maybe it's just making jewelry from your home. You know what I mean? Just enjoying it and giving it to friends and family, or starting a little Etsy account or something, Not everything about living your life to the fullest is always about making a ton of money off of that stuff, or needing a ton of money. It's about the spirit and the mindset of what you want to do or accomplish and achieve. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Hope you guys have a great rest of your time, and see you next time. All right? Bye.